Hello everyone, how the heck's it going? Hope it's going frickin' swell where you are. Today I'll be testing 3 different foil transfer gels to see which one reigns supreme, so your manicure will never be foiled. Again. We have 3 contenders today. One coming at the lowest price range at $6, being iGel Beauty. Our mid-tier option coming from Makartt at $16. And our head honcho of the bunch, the one that has the most to prove, is from Charme, coming in at a whopping $25. For $25, it better be able to transfer a lot more than just foil. Like money into my account, or fat from my stomach to my butt. First things first, I'll go through the obvious process of just trying them exactly how the manufacturer intended with their recommended cure times and such. Then I'm going to go through a second time to see if tweaking the cure times or doing any other tricks helps them to transfer better. I've heard time and time again that wiping foil gel with something like alcohol or acetone after you cure it helps the foil transfer better. In my mind, that's kind of like getting a sticker and wiping the adhesive off before you stick it somewhere, but I don't know. We'll give it a go and see if it makes any difference. I'm curious to see if the brand of the foil gel has any bearing on the wear time of the foil, because if you've worn foils, you know that these suckers like to chip. So let's get crack-a-lackin'. Here are the ingredient lists of all of the foil gels, as well as their consistencies, if anyone was curious. The iGel one is definitely the thinnest, and the Charme one is thick. But there is something I want to get out of the way before you watch me seemingly botch these nails. You will always have to touch up nail foils. By that, I mean you will never get 100% of the foil transferred in one go. Nails are of course not perfectly flat, so full cover foils will always crease, even just a little when applied. For my first experiment, I was purely testing how well the foils took on the first pass. First, I'm painting the nails in neon yellow shade, and definitely intentionally getting it all over my arm. I'll be applying this snakeskin foil over top, and the only reason I'm applying it over neon yellow is so it's easier to see the imperfections show through. I have used foils before, but I tried to test these as if it were my first time ever, so I strictly followed the manufacturer's instructions, using my silicone tool to help press the foil onto the nail. Then, as per the instructions, slowly peel the foil away from the nail. The results were, well, they were fine. At first, this seemed promising. It seemed like with each more expensive gel, the more foil actually transferred on the first go. I still wasn't totally convinced though, so next I tried my personal go-to way to apply foils to see how it compared. I usually cure for at least a minute, and instead of a slow peel, I rip it quicker than a wax strip on the first day of summer. I don't like to give the foil a chance to stick around on the transfer sheet. I did see an improvement this go around. For the third test, I tried the tip of wiping the cured foil gel with alcohol. I was surprised the first time. The iGel foil gel really liked this hack, but the other two were underwhelming. I played around with this a bit more later on though, once I got the hang of it. I actually had to pick my dang job off the floor when this worked. I guess I always thought the inhibition layer was the stickiness, you know? I also completely gave up on trying to peel the foil away slowly, because in my experience this just never works. Here's what all of them look like side to side after I did a bit of touching up. At a certain point though, the gel just loses its stickiness and touch-ups stop working out. That's why it's important to get a foil gel that can get most of the job done in one go. As you can see, after touching them up a bit, they all look pretty good. I was very impressed at how similar they were all turning out to be, but I still had a few things that I wanted to try. Here I'm trying to give a more forgiving foil a go, and by forgiving, I mean it doesn't need to be placed in a specific pattern, so it's much easier to touch up, and the metallicness kind of hides a lot of the imperfections. If you're new to foils, definitely get your hands on some of this magic, or even better, foils with transparent backgrounds. At this point, I was as comfortable working with these foil gels as I was comfortable filming with headphone hair. In other words, too comfortable. I tested out this clear floral foil, say that 10 times fast, using my preferred method with the pink flowers, then again using the hack, where the tacky layer is wiped off with the pomegranate berry blob things. I'll show all those side by side at the end, but before we get there, I wanted to wring out every last bit of potential from these nail foil gels. I felt like a total nail foil aficionado at this point, and my training was complete. I was ready for the final challenge of the night, which was revisiting these snake foils. This time around, I tried my hardest to make them look as good as I possibly could, so I was 100% certain in who I chose as the winner. I carefully placed down my foils, making sure to stretch them a little bit to try to minimize the amount of creases. Then I used both my fingers and my silicone tool to press it down as hard as I could. Then I went back in and touched up the little gaps that always occur. And I was starting to see some really nice results. Finally, I wanted to see if any of the brands helped with preventing chipping. Does the higher quality one maybe help hold your foils on longer? I have already worn Makartt foil gel on my nails several times, so I didn't apply that one this time. So on my left hand, I applied the iGel foil gel, and on my right hand, I applied the Daily Charme one. I wore this set of full foil nails for a week. I purposely did not cap the tips when applying the top coat, just so I could more visibly see the wear, and I noticed that there was the exact same amount of wear on both of my hands after a week. So the only thing that will prevent your nails from chipping is to just make sure you top coat them really well. I recommend top coating it twice, and definitely make sure you cap the edges really well. I don't know if I would call this experiment a success or not, because ultimately in the end, I realized that it really does not matter which foil gel you use. As you can see, you can get a flawless looking result with any of the foil gels I used today, so there's absolutely no reason whatsoever to pay $25 a bottle. Basically what I learned, and what I hope you take away from this, is it's not what foil gel you use, it's how you use it. For all of the foil gels I used, I found 60 seconds was a much more appropriate cure time, and I found it much more effective to rip the foil off quickly rather than slowly. Silicone tools also help a lot to make sure that you're smoothing out all of the creases. And if you're doing full cover foils, make sure you use a complementary color as the base for your nail to hide any of the smaller imperfections. The only real difference I found while working with these is their consistencies and their smells. The iGel one and the Makartt one both smell almost identical, and they have a really harsh and kind of disgusting chemical smell to them, whereas the Daily Charme one is much more mellow and actually smells kind of good, like perfumey. That is it for today's video. Don't forget to like it if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to hang out with me again. I have plenty of nail product comparison videos up my sleeve, so you don't want to miss those.